2025 NFL team previews. We got the first of the two New York teams up, the New York Jets. I'm going to try and not spend a whole lot of time on either of these New York teams, but always ends up being these are the longest ones. Now, what's great about betting is that the opportunity often comes from the most unexpected places. Bad teams that are expected to be bad can often provide value because everyone knows they're bad. There isn't anything you can do with a team like the Jets and how they were priced just 12 months ago. The Jets' expectation is night and day from last season with a win total of 10 games last year. They were priced as high as minus 175 to make the playoffs. Head coach Robert Saleh was fired after only 5 games, and with Saleh went the Jets' defensive heart and effort. So now this year, the Jets are priced more like how last year's team actually performed rather than how they were expected to perform. Replacing Saleh this season is a former Jets cornerback and more recently the Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn. Yes, I'm old enough to remember him as a player. What a lot of people don't know is that Aaron Glenn brought someone with him from the Lions, 43-year-old Lions passing game coordinator Tanner Engstrand, and made him the offensive coordinator. Interesting to see what he might have learned from Ben Johnson and if he uses his system or philosophy. Not that they have the personnel for like a precision passing offense. They'll probably be a run-heavy team, but game state usually dictates that. Can't be a run-heavy team trailing late in games. It's hard to make a case this team can be way better than last year's 5-win team. The offensive roster is weaker, and the ceiling is pretty much capped with Justin Fields at quarterback, but I think Justin Fields can be just as good, if not better, than Aaron Rodgers was last season. I know with Fields as your quarterback, you pretty much know the ceiling there, but if he commits to being a runner, he can elevate a team. He's just so damn slow through his progressions that he's basically like a one-read quarterback. He was criticized in Chicago for holding the ball too long, and it's because his first read, if that's not open, he's pretty much done. It says a lot that the Steelers let him go, an organization that is like desperate for stability at the QB position. This Jets offense should be like an easy offense to defend, but they could just end up bullying teams if they end up buying into their head coach's mentality. A solid run game behind what expects to be an above-average offensive line that returns the same unit, minus veteran right tackle Morgan Moses, who they replaced with first-round pick Armand Membo. Run game, good defense, it's a good combination to have, and probably my two favorite qualities of any team. Now, the variance of wins for this team will largely be determined by the defense. Despite the roster on paper being worse than last season, it could outperform expectations if new head coach Aaron Glenn can get them to buy in. I know it says Steve Wilks is the defensive coordinator, but that's just his title. Aaron Glenn is head coach and DC. Wilks is going on his 7th job in 7 years. He didn't get this job with the Jets to actually run the defense. He's just okay with being the assistant defensive coordinator while holding the title of defensive coordinator. And they have something to work with on the defense. Basically return the same unit as last year minus DJ Reed. And this is a defense that was much better than their overall season-ending numbers show. You can tell when they tried. They were like at a top 5 in a bunch of red zone metrics. They led the NFL in high leverage sacks. Sacked opposing quarterbacks 19 times in the red zone. Next most was 10. Jets had the lowest yards allowed on a per-play basis in the red zone, which is extremely tough to do when you have an offense that can't sustain drives to give you a breather on the sideline, or an offense that's constantly putting you in bad field position. Now, there's 4 teams with a win total of 5.5. I talked about one of the teams I think can go over 5.5 wins on the team preview right before this one. The other team I think can go over 5.5 is the Jets. Jets were terrible in close one-score games last season, going 3-7. Main reason for that was actually special teams. It directly cost the Jets 3 games. 3 different kickers combined to go 4-9 in the fourth quarter alone in field goals. To make matters worse, opposing kickers the Jets played were nearly perfect in fourth quarter field goals, going 13-15. Jets lost 18 expected points on fourth quarter field goals alone. When the win totals first came out back in May or June, one of the first bets I made was under 6.5 wins for the Jets. I had made the bet solely on speculation. Rodgers, Devontae Adams were gone. They didn't have salary cap space I knew to make big improvements on defense. I hadn't even started to run any of my projections for win totals. Fast forward to now, 2 months later, I do have projected lineups, strength of schedule, and this win total had been bet down all summer to now 5.5, and I have the Jets as a 7-win team, playing a top 10 overall easier strength of schedule, have several late season winnable games, and possibly could get Buffalo in week 18 in like a throwaway game where Buffalo sits starters. So I came back with the over 5.5, laid some juice, but have a little more on the over 5.5 than I do the under 6.5. With the juice, it's basically implied odds of a 6-win team, but I project 7 wins. Jets could be a sneaky good against a spread team. Besides that Week 11 Thursday Night Football primetime game versus New England, which we should all have circled. If you've been following me, I've talked a lot about this rookie head coach angle in their first Thursday Night Football game and how they struggle. Just 5 and 18, 21% against the spread since 1999. Overall, road underdogs with a new head coach playing on Thursday Night Football for the first time, just 38% against the spread. Outside of that, I think their team's identity will be a physical team that can make games ugly and they'll like try to bully teams. I actually want to look at betting against teams who are on the road playing the Jets the week before in MetLife Stadium. I'm almost certain that's going to be a profitable subset. The Jets are built to be a very physical, aggressive team that's going to wear opponents down with the run game and physicality on defense for 4 quarters, plus MetLife Stadium, already like an unforgiving and tough on players who are used to playing on that soft grass or synthetic turf. That's actually something I have in the power packet is the stadium surface types. It's in the home field advantage tab, and I have a few angles I've been tracking based on stadium and surface types. If you're unfamiliar with what the power packet is, it's a downloadable Google Doc that all premium members of the Discord get. It's basically what I use for my game selection process as my power ratings that I use to price each matchup and convert into point spreads. It's updated regularly with advanced metrics, has a historical trends and systems tab that I use throughout the season. The invite link to join the Discord is in all my social media bios. It's free to join the Discord, but the link to the power packet is in a private members only section, and there's several ways to get access to that besides just paying. Join the Discord for free, DM me, comment any questions, and join the squad this football season. College football source plays already looking good. 1-0 so far only, but the pending plays have some serious CLV, so feel good about those. Next up, the other New York team, the Giants, and then we get back to some interesting NFC teams, Philly, San Fran, Seattle, Washington. Stay tuned for those. Until then, good luck with your bets.